The story coming out of New York right now is one that has the entire league paying close attention, and it all centers around the Knicks and a possible trade involving their young guard, Tyler Kolek. Over the last few days, this team has been extremely active, signing multiple veterans and setting themselves up for what looks like one of the most competitive training camps they've had in years. But here's the real headline. The Knicks don't just want to bring in these veterans for competition, they want to keep them. And in order to do that, a trade seems almost inevitable. Now, what makes this situation fascinating is the level of reporting that has gone into it. This isn't just speculation from the outside. Multiple insiders have confirmed that New York is preparing for a roster move, and the name that keeps surfacing in these conversations is Tyler Kolek. The point guard, entering his second year with the team, has already drawn interest from rival franchises, and at least one formal trade offer has been made. The question is no longer if the Knicks are willing to move on from him. It's whether they believe keeping their veterans outweighs the long-term potential of a young guard like Kolek. According to Stephen Bondy of the New York Post, people around the league fully expect the Knicks to make a move. The front office is actively exploring ways to create enough financial and roster flexibility to retain both Landry Shamet and Malcolm Brogdon, two veterans they clearly believe can contribute right away. And Bondy isn't alone in that assessment. Jake Fisher of Yahoo Sports also reported that the Knicks have begun weighing multiple trade scenarios specifically to open up the space they need under the second apron. It's a clear signal of intent. The Knicks are serious about competing this season, and they're willing to sacrifice youth to do it. Then there's Ian Begley from SNY, who added even more clarity to the situation. He explained that with Brogdon now in the mix, the Knicks will head into training camp with a clear competition for roster spot. If two veterans stand out from the pack, the organization will be left with no choice but to move on from one of their guaranteed contracts. In other words, this is not just about bringing in depth for camp. This is about reshaping the roster for the long haul. And that's not all. Chris Persiani from Clutch Points also weighed in, and his reporting takes this story a step further. According to Persiani, both Shamet and Brogdon had other opportunities around the league. They could have chosen more secure situations, yet they elected to sign non-guaranteed deals with New York. That decision speaks volumes. It shows confidence not only in themselves, but in the Knicks front office, who have likely assured them there's a real path to making the final roster. When veterans of their caliber choose New York despite uncertainty, it usually means one thing: they've been told the organization will make room for them. So here's where it all ties together. The Knicks want to keep Shamet and Brogdon, both of whom could provide crucial depth. They can't exceed the second apron, and to balance the numbers, someone has to go. That someone, by every indication, is Tyler Kolek. Chris Persiani reported that at least one team has already made an offer for him, and given the Knicks' depth chart at the guard position, it makes perfect sense. With Jalen Brunson as the leader, Deuce McBride established as a defensive spark, and veterans like Clarkson and Brogdon providing scoring and playmaking, Kolek is suddenly buried. He may simply not have the opportunity in New York that he could find elsewhere. Two major takeaways are clear here. First, New York is seeking draft compensation in any deal they make. They're not looking to bring back another player who clogs the rotation. They want future flexibility. And second, this isn't a rumor anymore. This is a developing situation backed by multiple insiders, with reports confirming that offers have already been made for Tyler Kolek. The Knicks are heading into a season where the front office has publicly declared that the goal is a championship. Every roster spot matters. Every dollar under the apron matters. And right now, it feels like Tyler Kolek is the piece most likely to be moved in order to make the numbers work and keep the veterans they believe can make an impact immediately. When you look at Tyler Kolek, it's easy to understand why rival teams are circling. He's a true point guard, great vision, natural passing instincts, and the kind of facilitator who elevates everyone around him. For rebuilding teams in particular, that skill set is invaluable. They're not just hunting for raw talent, they're looking for players who make others better, who bring organization to the floor, and Kolek checks all of those boxes. Out of all the young pieces the Knicks currently have, he might be the one capable of returning the most value in a deal. But here's the key question. Is Tyler Kolek the only player who could be moved? According to SNY insider Ian Begley, the answer is no. There are other names worth monitoring. One is Pacome Dadiat, the 19-year-old French wing the Knicks selected in the draft. Another is guard Miles Deuce McBride. But there's a big caveat there. Inside the organization, the Knicks have consistently expressed just how much they value McBride. Multiple reports confirm that New York has resisted including him in trade talks in the past, and Begley made it clear that he doesn't expect that stance to change now. Shout out to Begley for breaking this down, because he also explained the financial reality. If the Knicks truly want to retain both Malcolm Brogdon and Landry Shamet, they're going to need to clear a roster spot. The simplest way to do that would be moving either Pacome Dadiat or Miles McBride. But again, given how the front office views McBride, it's highly unlikely he's actually in play. That leaves us with a process of elimination. The two realistic trade candidates are Pacome Dadiat and Tyler Kolek. Now, here's the timeline that Begley laid out. Don't expect a deal to happen tomorrow. He said it would surprise him if the Knicks made that kind of move before training camp. The far more likely scenario is that New York enters camp with a deep roster, signs additional players to non-guaranteed deals, and lets competition decide. Once camp and preseason unfold, the picture will be clearer. If Shamet and Brogdon separate themselves from the pack, that's when the Knicks will finally execute a trade to create the necessary space. So which direction will they go, Kolek or Dadiat? If you ask Knicks fans, and frankly, if you look at the reporting, the answer leans heavily toward Kolek. And the reasoning is pretty straightforward. Number one, the Knicks have already received at least one formal trade offer for Kolek. The interest is there, and with demand comes leverage. New York can reasonably expect to land that draft compensation they're looking for. Number two, the depth chart works against him. With Jalen Brunson, McBride, Brogdon, and even Jordan Clarkson all expected to see minutes at guard, Kolek is the odd man out. He simply won't have the opportunity to carve out the role he deserves in New York. Pacome Dadiat, on the other hand, is a different story. He's younger, at a premium position on the wing, and the Knicks believe he still has significant upside to develop. Trading a 19-year-old wing for the sake of cap space just doesn't make sense. If they were to move Dadiat, it would likely be in a deal that brought back another promising young player, not simply to clear the books. That's why, when you put it all together, Tyler Kolek feels like the logical piece to move. The Knicks have done this before. Think back to Obi Toppin. The front office acknowledged that he wasn't going to get the minutes he needed in New York, so they moved him to Indiana, where he'd have a better chance to showcase his game. We may be seeing the same playbook here. The Knicks recognize Kolek's talent, but also understand that his best chance to succeed may come in another uniform. And make no mistake, this isn't just about Kolek. This is about the Knicks' win-now approach. They believe Landry Shamet and Malcolm Brogdon can help them immediately. They've signaled a willingness to sacrifice youth in order to secure veterans who fit the rotation. At some point after camp, a trade will be made, and all signs point to Kolek being the one who exits, so the Knicks can solidify their roster around experienced, playoff-tested depth. At the end of the day, Knicks fans need to brace themselves. Whether it ends up being Pacome Dadiat or Tyler Kolek, one of these young players is almost certain to be moved. It's the reality of the situation. The Knicks don't have the roster space, and if they're serious about signing two veterans, Landry Shamet and Malcolm Brogdon, they'll have to clear a spot. That means a trade is coming. And this isn't about preference, it's about timing. The Eastern Conference is wide open right now. The Knicks see a window, and they want to capitalize. Moves like this, while tough to swallow for fans invested in the development of rookies and young prospects, are win-now moves. It's about surrounding Jalen Brunson and this core with as much depth, experience, and proven talent as possible to make a real playoff push. Sometimes, in order to take that next step, sacrifices have to be made. That's exactly what New York is preparing to do. Sacrifice potential for production. And in the eyes of the front office, that's the price of competing for an Eastern Conference crown. So what do you think, Knicks fans? Do you support the idea of moving on from Tyler Kolek? or even Pacomi Dadiet to clear space for two veteran additions? Is this the right call? Or should New York hold on to their young talent and ride it out? That's where things stand. A decision is coming, and it could very well reshape how this roster looks heading into opening night.